Since their launch in 2020, Legendary Lost Sectors have been a prime way of farming exotic armor in Destiny 2. In case you don't know, Legendary Lost Sectors are higher difficulty versions of normal Lost Sectors that you'd find in Patrol. They include champions, stronger enemies, and a plethora of elemental shields. While the drop rate of exotics from this activity is subpar at best, Legendary Lost Sectors are fast. An average player can consistently clear a run in around 5 minutes, and good players can take that time even further. Which Lost Sector is the fastest though? Today, we're talking about Perdition. We're going to go over loadouts for every single character, as well as discuss the most efficient method of crushing this Lost Sector. Let's get into it. Perdition is located in Cadmus Ridge on Europa. You're going to be faced with Overload Minotaurs and Barrier Hobgoblins in this Lost Sector, as well as Arc and Void Shields. Let's talk about your subclass. Arc is going to demolish this Lost Sector. Every single Arc subclass offers lots of speed, and each is incredibly viable. Titans have access to Touch of Thunder Storm Grenades, as well as Heart of Inmost Light, making for near permanent ability uptime. Warlocks can utilize Geomag Stabilizers for a stronger super. Hunters are able to take advantage of Assassin's Cowl or Liar's Handshake, making their already potent melee setup even deadlier. On top of that, with fragments like Spark of Resistance, Spark of Ions, and Spark of Shock, we've got a perfect balance of damage resistance, ability regeneration, and jolt. So, what weapons are we going to use? Well, Arbalest is the de facto anti-barrier weapon right now, and not using it is kind of like shooting yourself in the foot. So, we'll be using Arbalest to deal with barrier champions, as well as a few shields along the way. This season, our overload options are auto rifles and SMGs. My personal pick for this slot is the reissued Ikelos SMG. We've got a lot of arc shields to deal with, and with a perk like Volt Shot, Ikelos puts out some pretty good damage on other combatants. Finally, for our power weapon, just use a linear fusion rifle. They're so powerful that, again, not using it is like shooting yourself in the foot. My personal pick is Storm Chaser, for reasons that we'll detail later. What about armor mods?
Hi, yeah, so Editor Dalton here. I had the script all written out, and everything was perfect, everything was great. And what the fuck happens until this whole thing with mods that kind of just invalidates my whole script? So I don't know what the hell is gonna happen from here on out with mods. So if you're watching this in the future and something isn't the same, I'm sorry, okay? There's not much I can do at this point. So please bear with me.
What about armor mods? They're the most essential part of any build, so let's talk about a few contenders. By far, the easiest build for you to maintain is an Elemental Well build. Elemental Wells provide ability energy when you pick them up, but can also provide other bonuses when paired with the correct mods. For example, Font of Might grants a damage buff to weapons of the same element as your subclass. This is why I use Storm Chaser, to get a little more damage with Font of Might. Here are my top picks for other mods. Melee Wellmaker is a great choice for Oxrider hunters. You're going to be punching a lot with this build, and since your combination blow restores itself pretty easily, you can spit out wells like it's nobody's business. On the other hand, I prefer Elemental Ordnance for Titans and Warlocks. It's far easier for these classes to just chuck a grenade and spawn a well, as opposed to using a charge melee. Especially with all the ability regeneration provided by Arc, it's incredibly easy to just spam grenades. With the mod Bountiful Wells, if you have multiple copies of a well spawning mod equipped, like Elemental Ordnance or Melee Wellmaker, they're going to stack. This means one grenade kill or one charged melee could potentially spawn anywhere from 2 to 4 Elemental Wells based on how many mods you stack. Elemental Charge allows us to become charged with light by picking up an Elemental Well. We can combine this with other Charged with Light mods in order to make a pretty nasty combo. My top pick is High Energy Fire, which grants yet another damage buff. Now, let's talk about our process. Let's talk about how you're going to complete this Lost Sector. Start by taking out your nearby harpies. This is an excellent time to start picking up Elemental Wells, so feel free to use your abilities. A Hydra is going to be pushing you pretty soon. Play around your cover and chip it down. Eventually it is going to flee, but if you're quick enough, you can kill it now so you don't have to put up with it later. Arbalest is great for this as it pierces through the Hydra's shields. Once you push up to this point, an Overload Minotaur will spawn. Stun it when you get the chance, and feel free to put as much LFR into it as you like. We're not going to need a whole lot of heavy ammo, if any, for the boss, so we can afford to be pretty wasteful with it. The gate will open once all ads are cleared, allowing you to move up the stairs to the next area. Stagger the overload, and clear the rest of the room. Pushing forward is going to spawn in more ads, 2 barrier hobgoblins, and 2 wyverns. Personally, I enjoy taking out the wyverns first, and then pushing up and working on the barriers once the coast is clear. And just like that, you've made it to the boss. Fortunately, he's practically made out of glass. 1 super is more than enough to make quick work of him and get your loot. So, is this the fastest lost sector? I think so. It's definitely up there this season. If you're watching this video when it goes live in Season of the Seraph, you don't have the greatest lost sector rotation currently. You've got every moon lost sector, none of which are super efficient in my opinion. Chamber of Starlight and Nephilim's Rest in the Dreaming City are okay, but suboptimal at best. The Throne World has good picks such as Sepulture, and the other Europa sectors are fine as well, but I still think Perdition is currently the most efficient. If you're just getting started, Perdition is probably going to take you a little bit longer to clear. My estimate is anywhere from the 5 to 8 minute mark. However, once you become familiar with it and get into a good rhythm, you can start getting runs done in around 2 to 3 minutes. On top of that, once you start getting more comfortable with different loadouts and playstyles, this time has the potential to come down even more. I mean, look at this run I got on my hunter. What the fuck? Anyways, if you're missing out on some exotic gear or just want something with a better stat roll, I'd definitely recommend farming Perdition. The drop rate on exotics is still pretty terrible, but quicker runs means you have more time for more runs, and more runs theoretically means you have a better chance at an exotic drop. That never stopped my dog shit luck though, so do it or don't, I don't know at this point. Thanks for watching.